Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
This is the Red Kingdom Media live postgame show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to our live post-game show. We are back. I am your host, Dilly Dale Fowler, along with my partner, Lonnie. Clinton will be in a little bit. He's stuck in traffic right now. But your Kansas City Chiefs is going to their third straight Super Bowl en route of trying to get a three-peat. Lonnie, how you feeling, brother?
I mean, like you said, your energy, I think, speaks for itself. Three. Like I said, 49ers, the Cowboys, the Steelers with Franco Harris. Them is all legendary teams. All teams have gotten to the AFC Championship and lost. The Chiefs finished the job today. Get the job done. Hunker down when everything means the most. With the game on the line, 4th and 5, you see the Chiefs come through on defense. The defense finds a way to rear their head again. Oh my God! I mean, what are we watching? A master class, to say the least. Man, I mean, we watching history. I mean, make sure you guys get out tomorrow. Go get your newspapers. Go get your T-shirts. Get you a Red Kingdom Media shirt. It's up. I mean, we here, we did it. I mean, we got over the hump that a lot of people haven't got over, and I'm not gonna say we did it yet because we're not satisfied. It's still one game to go, and
Right.
I think that's what we're hearing a lot from the players now speaking, and then even the fans. We know the job isn't finished yet, but this was one for the record books right here. It looked like it was going to be reminiscent of that game, of the 13-second game, them going back and forth. And the Chiefs defense in the end was just able to really hunker down and get a stop. Like, I'm super duper proud of the boys, bro. Super duper proud of the mentality that Pat and them brought to the game. I think we talked about it all week, that this is going to be a mentality type game. This is going to be a legacy type game. This is going to be a Jordan defining game, a Patriots dynasty type game. And I think that's what it played out to be. The Chiefs separated themselves with this win, just like I talked about all week. A lot of teams have came and a lot of teams have tried, but no team has ever was able to complete it and get to the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs were able to do that. So the Chiefs separated themselves and set themselves apart as one of the best dynasties that we've ever seen in sports history.
And you just mentioned it, bro. Like, this is one team that couldn't do what other back-to-back champions have done. 3 of them have got to the AFC Championship game or the NFC Championship game, but they were never able to cross that line and make it to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs were able to be a part of history and actually do that. So before we really get deeper into it, just to give some stats and put it out there right now. So your Kansas City Chiefs did beat the Buffalo Bills 32-29 to move on to their third straight Super Bowl. They will be heading to New Orleans in 2 weeks to take on the Philadelphia Eagles, who had a wonderful performance against the Commanders today, blowing them out 55-23. So that's going to be a rematch from Super Bowl 57, and they're in route of, this is once again they're in that position where they had to play a team again in the Super Bowl, right? They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they have a chance to do how they did to San Francisco 49ers and actually beat the Philadelphia Eagles coming up in Super Bowl 59. So some stats to put out there. Patrick Mahomes, he had a great performance today, although he had that one fumble where he was just moving too fast, but I think he was just feeling the flow of the game. But he went from 19 for 26, 245 yards and 1 touchdown. Kareem Hunt on the ground today, he had 17 carries for 64 yards, and he kicked it off for the Kansas City Chiefs with a touchdown as well too. And then Xavier Worthy, He said it was going to be a big game for him. He said he looked back at the draft and he felt like when the Buffalo Bills traded back out and they traded with the Kansas City Chiefs, he said it felt like they didn't want me, and he used that as motivation to have the performance that he had today. He was our leading receiver, having 6 receptions for 85 yards and 1 touchdown. A lot of people said that, hey, this was going to be another masterful performance by Travis Kelce, but the Buffalo Bills said, no, the Chiefs, you're not going to beat us with Kelce today. You're going to have to use the guys around you, and that's what Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid did today. They were very gutsy going on 4th down on their own 39-yard line, and that could have really changed the trajectory of the game, and they were able to overcome that and actually step up. The Bills in the second half end up, of course, scoring a touchdown. I put them ahead 22-21, but they failed on that 2-point try that might have came back to bite them in the butt. And then the Chiefs was, of course, able to capitalize, score a touchdown themselves, and then go ahead and go for the 2-point conversion and make it 29-22. It got to the final moments of the game. Josh Allen was able to go down the field, of course, connect with Curtis Samuel to go ahead and tie up the game, but they gave that man Patrick Mahomes the ball again. He went down the field. I would have loved to have a touchdown, but Harrison Butker kicked it in from 35, and the defense was able to make a stop again. So, Lonnie, starting off, who stood out in this matchup today? Who stood out? Let's start with the offense. Who stood out on the offensive side of the ball today that you feel like, hey, I need to go ahead and give them the props, because without their play, we wouldn't be going to our 3rd straight Super Bowl. So let's go ahead and kick it off right there.
Yeah, I got to give it to Xavier Worthy. He showed up today, getting into the end zone, finding the end zone. He's been making plays silently kind of all season, and then in the postseason, later in the season, you've seen him kind of really work and become a number 1 in this offense. We have a good problem going here in Kansas City. Not only did we find a number 1 in Rashee Rice last year in our postseason run, I think we found a number 1 wide receiver in Xavier Worthy in this postseason run. And that's a good problem to have, especially when you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. You can never have a shortage of wonderful targets. But I want to take my hat off to Xavier Worthy for really coming out and really just having a coming out party in the postseason. 6 for 85 and a touchdown, a 14.2 yard average. I mean, he was giving it to DBs. I mean, I'm talking about routing guys up, and it's not like we talked about it too off air. It's not like Tyreek, and it's where it's like he's not really a route runner, and no, he's routing guys up, getting off, stepping back, stepping forward, creating space. He's great in the open field. He's great with underneath routes. He's great with the short game. Not only does he have the short game, he has the long game. So Xavier Worthy has shown all the tools in his arsenal. He was wonderful today. And then they said they had Juju at 6.5 yards in the props. That man had 2 catches for 60 yards. Oh my God. Who seen that coming? I don't think anybody's seen that coming. If you tell me Juju goes 2 for 60, I think that anybody's going to say that the Chiefs win. So it's really hats off to that entire wide receiver core. I love what I've seen though from Xavier Worthy, and I know you're gonna probably talk about Kareem Hunt, but I wish we got to see more clips of that man after this game. We know this is one that he wanted, me and you, and it looked like, and it showed it every bit today, just the way he ran like a man amongst boys. But it's gonna take 1-11, everybody doing that 1-11 to win the next game. So, but Xavier Worthy, he's put himself on the map for sure. In Buffalo, you missed on the guy. He's one of them. Preventing that interception. He just made some wonderful plays today, just down the stretch, showing some stuff that we just really didn't see a lot of him at Texas and that he has. So I love what I've seen from number 1. Keep it going into the Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah, keep it pushing. I think once he showed us that big catch that he had when Patrick Mahomes just threw it down the field and he went up with one hand and grabbed it. Our guy Ray, he said earlier, he said that was very Justin Jefferson-like. And I can go with that hype. I think Worthy came into this matchup and said, this is me. We lost in the first matchup early in the season, but Patrick Mahomes and the veterans, they told me, like, this is not it. We're going to come back and play this team again, and you're going to have your chance to go ahead and put up a big game, but he did. But you think I'm going with Kareem Hunt? I want to, because he did his thug thizzle today in this matchup, and he ran hard, and he was eating like he's supposed to, and we need that to carry over into the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. But Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 catches. I know it was 2 catches, but for 60 yards, 30 yards of reception, he came up big. And I feel like they went back into what they did well in 2022 when he was a part of the offense. Everyone was focused on Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins. Hollywood Brown actually got the game started off for us and really helped us in that first drive where they was able to carry over and of course ended off with a touchdown with Kareem Hunt. But Juju Smith-Schuster just taking advantage of the guys looking at Travis Kelce and all the attention going towards him. But y'all forgot when he was in this offense, when we were efficient, when we were the highest scoring offense that year as well too. And he came into this, he made some big plays across the middle. And we knew that the Bills would have trouble across the middle because they was missing one of their starting safeties, Taylor Rapp. And we was able to take advantage of that throughout the game with our quick passes. And then you end up having Christian Benford again having a concussion after coming off a concussion protocol. That didn't play well into them as well, to them as well either. So I think overall, Buffalo did their job of coming out in the second half, getting the stops that they needed, but they didn't do enough. And we have saw this really from the Kansas City Chiefs offense all season, where we have a quarter or two where we hot. The offense is moving the ball, and it feels like, ooh, are we going back to this Kansas City offense that we've seen from years before? But then they have those drives where they stall out, a penalty pushes back, when we're not able to finish it. But if you look at what Mahomes did today, other than that fumble, I think it was just a miscommunication with him and Pacheco. He pulled it late, and that's why you got to put it on him. But he knew that he was going to dial it up and go downfield because they was doing it for 3 or 4 straight possessions, and you seen how they were able to get out there and really expose that. But we know that, hey, okay, we have a couple drives where we give it up. Defense did a great job with not letting Buffalo take advantage and just go away with it because they had an opportunity just like us to do that as well. So it was always going to go into who was going to step up big in the right moment, who was going to able to make those big plays. And like who the guys that we just mentioned today, Xavier Worthy did that for us. And then also Juju Smith-Schuster came out and made a couple big catches himself where it helped us push over and it helped us extend the drive and it put us in great field position as well, too, to put points on the board. So, shout out to everyone on the offensive side of ball that, of course, came out there, did their thing, really, followed their assignments. It seems like everyone was on point. Everyone knew their assignment. Once they saw it, you hear Patrick Mahomes while we here at home watching on the game, we hear him on TV, watch the safety, he coming to blitz. He's calling it out and reading it early. That defensive line of the Buffalo Bills, what they said that, these guys can get pressure, you can see the undersized, you see how undersized they were, how that played a factor. They was getting blew up on the line of scrimmage. Von Miller, being the veteran that he is, he could not get behind Jawan Taylor. Greg Russo could not get behind Joe Tooney. Mike Caliendo, he got bullied one play by Ed Oliver. He got you, but he got him back when they was running the ball as well, too. And Kareem Hunt was finding those open holes, and they were able to make the plays. So great job to the offensive line where everyone doubted them all season. Everybody said they will be the ones that make the Chiefs not be able to go to the Super Bowl. We was talking about how Y.A. Morris and Kingsley, they were not the guys at left tackle. We had a left tackle issue. They fixed that all today. They looked wonderful.
And I was going to just say, like, shout out to A7. What's underrated is his blocking. On a lot of those plays, I mean, Travis is doing dirty work. If Travis is not catching the ball, he's still in making blocks. They don't bring in another set of tight ends for somebody to block. Travis is still out there doing dirty work, and he's making catches when he needs to. He did have some drops today, which is uncharacteristic of Travis. But shout out to A7 in the blocking game, doing dirty work, doing stuff that Gronkowski was known for doing, and a lot of things that they say in the NFL that he doesn't do with is a weakness of his, which is block. And getting out there and getting his hands dirty. I mean, Kareem Hunt did get stopped in the backfield a couple times. Like you said, there was some pressure coming from Caliendo's side, but I don't think it's nothing that you can't clean up. These are professionals. Everybody is paid to make plays. You have to understand that the Bills are going to make some plays in that run game somewhere, some type of way. These guys are paid too. They study film too. So I love overall though. I love what I see from Kareem Hunt and Pacheco, and especially just late in the game. You guys see how that's the RB room is where we're going to win games. And when it's time to get the win and secure the dub, it's Mahomes in that RB room. You got to be in lockstep because that's where they're going. And I think that's where the Eagles are going. That's where teams are just going. Period. When it's time to win games, that's usually your check down. It usually goes your tight end and then it's your running back with the quarterback. So I love what I've seen from the Chiefs running back. So, but I really wanted to shout out A7 because they talk about how he's not a blocker, and he did that today.
But you got to shout out Patrick Mahomes actually in the rushing game as well, too. Guess what? Josh Allen had 11 carries for 39 yards, and Patrick Mahomes had 11 carries for 43 yards. Guys, he hasn't ran or did a quarterback sneak ever since he had an injury in against Denver, a couple of years ago on their first Super Bowl run. They went out there and said, Patrick said, put it on my back. We're going to go ahead and scheme it up. He was able to go ahead and fake it, get to the outside, hit that hole, and then, of course, get into the end zone. He did his part today with 2 rushing touchdowns. He observed the defensive side of the ball. He called out their pressures, saw their coverages, but he took advantage of them not having a spy at certain moments. What happened when coming out in the second half, on that first drive, I think the Kansas City Chiefs could have scored. And when looking at it, I think Patrick Mahomes was observing the game. He was like, they haven't had a spy on me all game when he rolled out. And then it looks like, what was his name? It wasn't Benford, but Bernard, that linebacker. He was able to follow up and he followed in on him. And he was able to get that big sack that force a pump. I think that's when the momentum shifted at that point. And, of course, they got the ball and then they scored right after that. But he was able to, of course, lock in. And then from there, he didn't have any more mistakes after that. But I think the difference from what we have seen with Patrick Mahomes, what he does early on in the season, and I think this is just something he does. I feel like when you see him early on in the season, and even though we get away with some wins, and he had a high turnover margin at that point, I feel like he's like, I can take a risk right now. It's early on. We know that we can win the games when we have to and put us in position to go to the playoffs. I think had the year that they had last year when they went 11-6 and was on the road pretty much the entirety of the playoffs, other than that first game. They was like, we can do this again if we have to. I think Mahomes sometimes be like, let me try and see if I can get this off. Because a lot of we do this in practice, right? And I don't think Patrick Mahomes treat other players like if going into this game that they're not professionals, I can just do that. But I think he prepares for moments like this where, can I get this off during the season? I mean, in crunch time, going down in the postseason when we got to make a play, can I do that? And I feel like that's the difference we see early on. But when it's time to lock in, he's not taking those risks. And when he's not taking those risks and turning over the ball, you see what happened today. We stay into the game and we're able to go out and win the ball game. In his last game against the Bills in week 11, y'all talked about it. What happened? He threw 2 interceptions. I think he probably had a fumble as well too. He had like 3 total turnovers. In this matchup, he had 1 total turnover. Would have probably had none because he was on top of the ball. But that little push we rock on him. He's a quarterback. Was able to, of course, recover it from there, and that's how they got him. But it was really clean. He was like, I'm gonna take this sack, and he only got sacked twice today. I'm gonna throw it out of bounds.
Shades of Cam Newton with the fumble. I just wanted to interject to say that. Shades of Cam Newton with the fumble.
He dived though.
Like I know he got on it.
Though. He got on it.
But it was like, oh my God, if he wouldn't have went for that fumble,
would have been the same thing. Hey, that's why it's like you had to do it, bro. So that's why I love no shots at you, Cam. Like we know it happened. We don't know what your process at that time. It's definitely a different story. How that game was for them. It was very close as well too. He probably was like, we don't have to take that risk. I need to stay healthy so I can at least have a chance. Pat, I think like y'all was saying all week, even though the Eagles is going to be a good matchup, y'all was calling this a Super Bowl. So I think they were going all out in this game because we know the Bills and they were going to do their all. So great job, honestly, from Kansas City offense. Really, of course, doing their part, stepping up, not making as many mistakes. But also, I want to give my props to Isaiah Pacheco as well, too, because he was a guy who came into the league, was like, I'm going to take a grown man job, which he did, right? And in this case, Kareem Hunt is kind of the workhorse that we have right now. So that can probably, you can feel somewhat defeated. But I still love your enthusiasm. You still understand that you can make moments. You was injured, brother. It's all right. You was injured. That's why. You still have a spot. You still have it. But for you to be able to, of course, take it all in and understand what you in, you got a chance for a three-peat. Yeah, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, Najee Johnson, Joshua Williams, George Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie. They never have not been to a Super Bowl as long as they was playing in that league. You see how I snuck in Najee Johnson as well, too?
Be cooked, too. I mean, we just got to let that sink in. That's an undefeated rookie class as far as the postseason in the Super Bowl. I mean, we talk about all the other stats that people don't have, but let's take a time to acknowledge a stat that is really sticking out like a sore thumb. Nobody has rookies that have done that. Shout out to the Chiefs and their scouting department and their drafting team. They draft wonderfully. To have people that have not only played in Super Bowls, but have made significant impacts on their team. That draft where they traded away Tyreek Hill and got those picks, man, you want to talk about something that was like, Tyreek Hill is regretting it, but
he posting on X right now, bro. He posting on X right now. He said, what the Simpson mean? Yeah, bro, that was your fault. I've been rocking with you, Rick, but Lonnie and them, they've been making me like really steer away from you, and I don't care no more, bro. This is a third straight Super Bowl. I can't. It's your fault, brother. You could have been enjoying this. You could have been a part of this. But at the same time, we wouldn't probably be able to give chances like DeAndre Hopkins a chance to win the Super Bowl, Hollywood Brown a chance to win the Super Bowl. Juju Smith-Schuster a chance. I even take it back to MVS and all of them. You helped us. You helped us. You helped us feed other guys who is deserving, who want to be a part of this type of success. So I hope you like in South Beach. Who knows? Maybe once that contract up, you can probably just come on with this ride. But we gonna go ahead and rock with Kareem. We had you. It's time to get the other functional guy a chance to go ahead and go out there and go out on top as well too. So we got a question to ask before we even move on to before we even go to the defense. I think this is a good starting point for that. Would you say Spags is one of the greatest DCs ever? Lonnie, I'm gonna go ahead and let you answer that first.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's one of the. I would say he's one of the best.
He's one of the greatest assistant coaches.
Yeah, one of the greatest assistant coaches. I wouldn't say ever, just because you got guys like Bill Belichick. He was a head coach, but
no, hold on. I'm about to argue with that. We need that.
Okay,
we need to argue. This is the question because he said defensive coordinator, right?
Okay, so we want. Okay, well, I mean, you want to go defensive
he
coordinator?
He won 4 total. Technically, he can win 5 because he won one with the Giants. That's where it comes at. Because he got 4 total as an assistant coach, a head defensive coordinator. I don't think nobody had more than him on that.
Who was with Bill Belichick? I think the year all they went all them.
Josh McDaniels be moving around. He probably couldn't be up there with him because he was a part of that. But Josh McDaniels be leaving, being a head coach, have unsuccessful years, and then he go back. Just like what he doing now, he gonna be a part of Vrabel's staff. He'll go somewhere, coach, been horrible, and then he go back. And then that's why he wasn't probably a part of every Super Bowl. So that's where.
It's a good argument. So I'm gonna say one of the best ever. Like I said, I would have to know who. So I would say yes. I mean, I would have to see who was DC of that Patriots team, or if the DC was consistent.
They probably had different ones because Josh McDaniels was offense.
And we know at the heart of it, Bill Belichick was making the calls. But I mean, I think we got to. Spags knows his team the best. He drafted this regime. These are guys that he's picked. He has fully put his entire system is in play in Kansas City right now. The fact that this man has not got more head coaches looks is egregious. You can say that it was about his age. You can pinpoint it to whatever you want to pinpoint it to. But what he has done in Kansas City is simply a masterclass. He has flipped a defense completely around and made them into a championship defense. I mean, we just named 4 or 5 players that he drafted: Najee Johnson, Brandon Cook, Jalen Watson, George Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie. I mean, he's got.
You can go back to the next one that
Dave
won 3 out of
Hicks.
4. You can go back to the next one with 3 out of 4. Nick Bolton, Leo Chenal, all them, bro. Like you can go back. He did it. He made it work. And when we say, because we said Josh McDaniels, right? That's offensive coordinator. He did say DC defensive coordinator. He might got it. He might have it. He might have it. Are we talking in a moment right now? I don't know, but 4 Super Bowls. You were the reason why you stopped Brady in one of those. Was unsuccessful in one, of course, in this one, but we know the issues that we had on the other side of the ball. But the consistency of Jerry Sneed leaving, bringing somebody in, they doing it. Anthony Hitchens, you got guys talking stuff about Reggie Ragland, those type of guys who was a part of the first Super Bowl run, right? They weren't that great. Left them. You pick some more guys up, make it work. We can talk stuff about Najee Johnson, how horrible he is. He not great, but he was swapping in and out on the first couple of possessions with Jalen Watson. He was a part of that first first stop. He did it. He did. He's going into where he need to be. Great. Guess what? Jalen Watson gets some more rest too as well coming into this. So I mean, they get a break. This was an awesome win for them. Unfortunate the Eagles had somewhat of a runaway win against the Commanders today, right? But most of their guys still play the entirety of the game, so I think rest-wise is still comparable. But we know how it is, and we know what once it comes into those big games, we make big plays, and you have to play the entire 4 quarters when playing the Kansas City Chiefs. But they did an awesome job today. They definitely balled out and played great. We're going to get to this defensive side of the ball. Clinton will be in very soon. Just got back home. He's going to hop in, and we're going to get his taste because he is right there rocking with y'all, Chiefs Kingdom. So we're going to get the live experience. Head killing him right now. He already said it, but we're going to get his take soon. He's going to be right in. But before we move on, let's go ahead and, hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Make sure to subscribe to our Substack so you can get our daily newsletters Monday through Friday. Also, our pregame and postgame articles as well, too, because we got one more coming up. Well, I got 2 because I got to get done with this game after this. But we got one more week of content, y'all. And we like to do some fun stuff the week of the Super Bowl as well, too, where we talk to y'all. And we might have another final draw. We'll talk about it, have that conversation. All right, it's gonna be another good one. Yeah. But make sure if you have, because I think Clinton and Shannon, they might be doing another episode this week as well too, depending on how it goes, how they feel, because they was rocking today at Arrowhead, But if you want to be on his Home of the Chiefs podcast, Shannon and Clinton, make sure to fill out that form. That way they can have you on as a guest, and of course they can have some fun as well too. Also, if you want a Red Kingdom Media shirt, we just won. You need some Chiefs gear. Probably need something coming up. You might be going to New Orleans. Rock the gear out there for us and all that, right? Hit us up so we can get that out to you as soon as possible before that happens. That way you can have a good time. You got some other merch that you can get with the other merch that you're gonna be copying with that AFC Championship shirt. To go ahead and go up to New Orleans with, and of course, have a great time and represent the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. Defense. It was a tough game for them. A lot of people will probably say that, hey, they were pretty bad today. Give some respect to the Buffalo Bills offense. They were able to overcome a lot this season. Josh Allen had a lot of over your dead body moments throughout the season, and even in this game as well too. He did what he could to keep them in his matchup. Every time we see him in the postseason, the only time we blew him out was in 2020 when we had it. All right. After that, he said not again, and he been close in every game. But give you some stats on that side of the ball. Josh Allen, 22 for 34 for 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes actually got him on that with the passing yards in that game as well too, but it feels like he was really beating us up a lot. James Cook had a good game. I don't know why they stopped running with him, but he had 13 carries for 85 yards. But the Chiefs always tend to do that when they're matching on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to take away from what you're trying to do with us. With our weakness is running on us. But when you're playing from behind, you can't run it as much, and I think that helped out a lot. And then their leading receiver in this game was Mac Hollis with 3 receptions and 73 yards. Hope you don't got frostbite, brother. You did a little bit too much to be losing this game. And we're not going to talk about that pregame fit as well, too, but I hope you went home crying. Defensively, let's go ahead and give them a shout out. I think we had 2 total sacks in this game. Turk had 1, and then also Mike Dana had 1 as well too. You also seen Mike Dana also get a swipe as well with a potential could have been like a big fumble on Josh Allen where he made a play. So they were getting after him today, but Josh Allen does what Josh Allen does, right? He's going to make it happen. You're not going to bring him down as much just like you do Patrick Mahomes. So that was kind of understanding. Like, as a Chiefs fan, you watching this, you see how our games go, you shouldn't be that upset. Situationally, they did it. They had 2 big stops for 4th down. They had the one where they had the tush push. That's preparing you for the next 2 weeks when you go up against Jalen Hurts and that offensive line again. Y'all was able to stop that a couple of times. And then the last 4th down on 4th and 5 where he threw it with Dalton Kincaid. Probably should have been a catch, but having him rattled up, just throw it up in the air and hope that somebody can get it. It didn't happen. They made a big play and were able to be a turnover on down. So that was definitely big for the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. Shamari Connor was the leading tackler in this matchup. He had 9 total tackles. He had 5 solo tackles, receiving kick returns with Nico Remigio. Just put that out there as well too. Another big day for him, having 4 returns for 107 yards. And he averaged 26.8, and he had a 33 yard long one as well too. Then on the punt return, he had a 41 yard. So he has been the difference maker that we have saw McCole Hardman do and flip the game for us to give us that momentum. But sticking on the defensive side of the ball, who was your standout in this game for the defense, Lonnie?
Yeah, so my standout on the defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it to the defense. I want to give it to the whole entire defensive line room, but I can't do that. But so I'm gonna give it to specifically Chris Jones. He reared his head again today. I know he didn't get there, but they, like they said, had I think it was like an NFL playoff high in pressures on the quarterback. It was ridiculous. When the Chiefs have a plan or like something is a stat that's quoted from the game, whether it be a negative stat or a positive stat or just something that's not in the Chiefs' favor, they are going to make sure to flip whatever that stat is back into their favor. So being that the Chiefs didn't have a sack on I was going to say Joe Burrow, Josh Allen in this playoff game, I mean, in the game previously, you knew that they were going to go into this game and they were going to get their hands on Josh Allen. They were going to get him on him a lot. And they did that today. And they got to him quick in a quick manner. Were able to bring him down twice, like you said. So Big Mac for sacks for everybody in Kansas City. Make sure you go get you one. And while you out, go get you a T-shirt, a hat, and a newspaper. Everybody, make sure that you document. This is current events. We living through history. But I love what I see from Chris Jones. A masterclass. You've seen him crying today after the game. I think this one just meant a lot, I think, for the boys, man. They knew what they had a chance to do, and the Chiefs went out there and got it done today. And they finished it with nothing better than the defensive side of the ball. The thing that really kicked off this entire dynasty was that defensive side of the ball really kind of flipping and becoming really one of the bright spots on the team. And they did it again today. Me and you talked about this off air before we came on, but we said it. The defense is going to have to get 2 stops in order for us to win this game. The defense did that. They did it. They were able to get 2 stops, that one on 4th and short, and then come back again and get one on 4th and 5. And it was a masterclass. So I love what I seen from Chris Jones. They do have a big test coming up in Saquon Barkley, seeing what he did with that Pop Warner-esque play at the beginning of the game where he gets a toss crack and completely just spins 2 guys out of their shoes and takes it to the house. It lets you know that the Chiefs are going to have to be prepared to stop the run in this next game. You are not going to be able to get blown off the ball like that, but I think the Chiefs will be prepared. I don't ask too many questions. I'm not going to continue to question. I'm not going to continue to say can they do this or do they have the ability to do that. We need to take everything for face value. The Chiefs are 15-2, and it don't look like nobody is going to come within like 10 feet of them. So I love what I've seen, like I said, from Chris Jones. And then another thing too, I just wanted to mention real quick, turnover differential. Like you said, it might have been announcer's jinx. The Chiefs didn't have any turnovers since week 11, so we played the Bills, and of course we have a turnover today. But I always come on the show and I say it, the Chiefs nullify the turnover differential. You can turn the ball, they can turn the ball over and they will still win the game. So let that sink in too for a minute. We lost the turnover battle today and we still won. So
And do you
that's
really
how
want to
good
say
Mahomes is.
But do you really want to say we lost a turnover battle? Because we can say 2 turnover on downs, bro. I mean, it might not be a literal interception or a fumble, but that stuff plays into the game as well too. Those are moments that can shift it. But well, we see that question in the chat. We're going to definitely get into it. But before we have our stem, I give my stand out. We got them in the building. We got them in the building. We got them here. Clinton, what's up? How you feeling?
Wow, what a sense of relief, man. It did not look all that great to start with, but they did the impossible. That's all I can say. I doubted the defense to make the right amount of stops when it was needed, and the Bills kind of leaned into that strategy of this is our game to lose, and the fact that the Chiefs on more than one occasion was able to kind of hold them on 4th down, and I think both times it resulted in points for the Chiefs the other direction. And we had a turnover and they did not, and the fact that we were able to come out ahead despite everything that was in front of us. I mean, yeah, the Chiefs are the NFL's villain here, and despite the calls not going their way, there's 1 or 2 calls that will get thrown out there as the refs are on the Chiefs side, but everyone who watched the game and all the people in red in the stadium knew the refs were not, in fact, on our side so much. But with that being said, the Chiefs, 1 of 2 steps, I had already kind of told these 2 in private. The Chiefs, to win this game, would have to do something that is impossible, which has not been done before, which is the team that had already won back-to-back Super Bowls winning their conference championship. So that was step 1 of 2 of things that are impossible that the Chiefs were able to accomplish this postseason. And now they get to do it again against a familiar Eagles opponent, but do not have the happy-go-lucky story of Jason being there as the Kelsey Bowl. So it can just be full-on Nick Sirianni retribution against him. And I am excited for that, but I do not want to flash ahead. I am still trying to digest this win. Took me a long time to finally escape Arrowhead and the confines around it, but I'm here in one piece. Excited to kind of hear what your guys' kind of takes were. And then, these people will not be short for us breaking down this Bills game some more and previewing this Eagles Super Bowl over the next 2 weeks for Red Kingdom Media. But what do you guys got to think?
Yeah, well, we been going through it. We honestly, this was a win that was needed. You brought up in your statement where you said before you got on, you said something about how technically they won a turnover battle, but we overcome it. I mentioned Lonnie. When you think about it, those two turnovers on down, that was a turnover. That was a turnover for us. It wasn't the interception that we may not that we may want it. It may have not, of course, been the fumbles that we thought we can cause or with the strip sacks that happened, but they stood up and stood their ground like they needed to. So, I mean, the offense, I know it felt bleh at that time where you saw it when we had the punt, and of course they was able to capitalize the score off of that. But those moments where they went for two, it bit them in the butt every time. It was those things that bit them in the butt. Mahomes situation, that fumble, that was the problem. That was bad. Okay, he was rushing, but how we were seeing it, like I know it looked bad on the field because it's a different feeling, and you feel that we let it go, and you kind of saw them go down the field after that. But when we was watching it, they was tearing them up. I mean, Clinton, they was tearing them up. They was like with the quick pads going down, they couldn't cover them. So that's why the comfortability was still there. But we was on our standouts. Because we'll go back all over that. So for the defense right quick, I'm gonna go ahead and say my stand. I'm gonna give it to Justin Reed real quick. I think he flew out there, he made some plays, he was flying around, he was sticking. I was seeing those quick passes that happened in those games that what we saw recently, where they get it, they like to get upfield. He read that one. That one right there, he knew once he went across, Shakira went across, it was no second guessing. When you're in Spags defense as a defensive back, we can talk about the secondary did bad today. Man, Josh Allen is a hell of a quarterback. Give him his credit. Stop playing him like that. He gives us a run every time. No doubt. But they stepped up when they needed to. And I think he was a big part of that. You seen that in moments when he was outside of the field, they could make a couple plays. But when he was out there, you can see the rotation of the guys. You can see how the secondary was working. They was all on one accord. It was perfect. Not perfect, but they did their part. But that's how we felt on that. Why don't you go ahead and you can give them a rundown what you said real quick.
Well, yeah, I just said it was. I felt like Chris Jones had a crazy game, out of body type game today. Just kind of with Tony Romo bring it up during the broadcast. I think it was the highest game for QB pressures in a playoff history ever for a defensive tackle. I think it was Chris Jones. So I also just want to talk about that last blitz from Spags. Tony Romo talked about it. When it's time for Spags to get home, where he has made a killing and where he has made a living here in Kansas City, is on fourth down, third down, and drawing stuff up. Playing the cat and mouse with Josh Allen, and knowing that it's going to come down to your corners and your safeties just making better decisions and knowing their keys, and win the blitz. I don't think I know anybody that does it better than Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, to get Justin Reed, Trent McDuffie, get two guys free off the ball, another guy in Josh Allen's face. I mean, he did have a guy wide open, but I mean, it's just a big ass trying to get somebody to throw over a guy, and then you got three guys breathing down their neck. It's just a masterclass, just drawing stuff up when it matters the most. Like Steve Spagnuolo is second to nobody, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's just getting more calls. We get more calls on him.
It was phenomenal. We was definitely satisfied with the performance that they had. But Clinton, we gave our offense. We want you to go ahead and catch up. Go ahead, give your thoughts about the game to let us know who stood out on offense, and go through your defensive guys as well too, because we know you was in that traffic, brother. We know you was in that traffic. But it was worth it. You had to see the trophy ceremony a little bit. I know you had to go to the final moment. So go ahead, give us the full experience. Let us know what happened at Arrowhead Stadium and how you feel about that matchup.
All right, and I'll piggyback that by saying those who want to see our take on the Lamar Hunt trophy ceremony will have to check out Shannon's vlog later this week, because that is why we stayed for that much longer. And that's why it was hell to get here. But I'm sure you guys did not miss me because you had Dale and Lonnie to catch you up. For me, this was the kind of the boxing match that I had kind of figured out in my head. And, every possession feels so important. If you don't get a touchdown this drive, then it's definitely over. If they get it, then you're playing catch up, and it's just this this dance that you play. And it kind of turned out that way. You guys saw a lot more balls on the ground. That made you excited more than us here in the stadium could really tell, because we did not get the ball in the fumble. But you were all right. Those fourth down stops were kind of those massive turnover plays, and the Chiefs were able to capitalize off of those. For me, what stood out the most, and the player that I'm putting at my offensive standout, has got to be playoff Pat. Because what happens is when the playoff mode is activated, then Patrick's legs start getting a little more nimble. He starts breaking out. He starts running. He gets away. He scrambles out. He picks up a first down. He makes a man miss. And, we were joking. He thought he was going to have, almost 100 yards rushing by the end of the game. But he had 2 rushing touchdowns. The Chiefs were able to kind of pick apart this Buffalo defense. But once they got in the red zone, other than, direct handoffs to Kareem Hunt, it did not really get the job done. So, Butker had to do his thing. But for the most part, if the Chiefs needed to score, it was through Patrick Mahomes' legs. And that could be very important here in 2 weeks for the Super Bowl. But that's what stood out to me, is just Mahomes saying that this was, over his dead body. And Josh Allen, played that part right back all the same. Whether or not his execution or the play calls of, several quarterback sneaks in a row, that's kind of, puzzling to say the least, I guess. But Josh, that was the best play that Buffalo Bills have had. So I guess why wouldn't you go with your best play if you're most confident with it? But the Chiefs were ready for that several times and was able to make the key stops. And like I said, the Chiefs were able to make the inverse effect, put the score on the board, hold whatever it takes. And that's why the Chiefs were able to walk out here with a 3-point win. On defense, I agree. Chris Jones has to be kind of the main standout, even though, stat sheet wise, the pressures were there, and you could see that Buffalo was kind of tempting it a few times, saying Chris Jones can have your one-on-one matchup, and the pressure was getting there. We just couldn't wrap it up. But the Chiefs were able to get a couple sacks this game, or at least 1 or 2 that I see. So, that's not what I would have assumed going into this game. I would have said Josh Allen is kind of that freak of nature who can spin his way out or just continue to run forward when they're not expecting it. But the Chiefs were able to do a pretty decent job applying pressure when it counted. The defense was kind of susceptible to those midfield passes, kind of what we were picking apart Buffalo's defense with. So it seemed like both teams kind of had the same game plan in mind. But overall, Arrowhead came to play. Shout out to Bills Mafia. You guys packed the stadium as well. Y'all were super cool. No arguments here. But we got to host and hoist the Lamar Hunt Trophy in our stadium once again. And we get to go into three-peat, winning this game 32-29. I don't know if you mentioned it, but the first game, the Chiefs finally put up 30 on the board, and they needed all 32 of those points, and arguably could have had and needed a few extra points in that game. But Buffalo was kind of chasing points all game, even when they had the lead, was still trying to chase points. And the one time the Chiefs chose to kind of go for 2 and establish their 7-point lead, they were able to do that. So you know, what more can I say? What more do you guys want to hear? Your Chiefs got the win. You're going to hear all about my take on the game tomorrow when I do my Home of the Chiefs breakdown, giving you all the special plays that happened. And like I said, Shannon's vlog coming out later this week. That's us on the scene, getting to watch all the stuff behind the scenes. What more could you want, guys? I mean, this is playoff football, and we got all the way through it. And now we got a long break until the Super Bowl, but we will keep you guys and the audience very busy and entertained with all the personalities, and who knows what we have planned.
Well, Dale was about to say something, but I just want to say we're doing Super Bowl week again. Like this is crazy, y'all. Like, we're a small Chiefs platform. We're growing, but with just the fact that we even get to document this together, do this every year, we kind of like I don't want to take it for granted. Like,
good luck charm, bro.
This is crazy. Like, we are living through something wild. So like, I'm just enjoy every moment of it, bro, because they don't come very often. And we talk about all the times before this we were losing in playoff games, just like the Bills. We weren't even making it to AFC Championship. So just kind of enjoy the moment.
They said we couldn't make it in the shootout. We did. They said, Clinton. Maybe I should look on this side because I'm in the middle like this. Clinton. What happened? What happened? What happened when it was time? I'm not gonna get too loud right now because we didn't got too gay. It's all good. It is this what it is. This is the good luck charm. Ever since we brought this channel to y'all, ever since we wanted to bring this up and talk sports football with y'all all the time, Chiefs football with y'all all the time, Super Bowls after Super Bowls, it's on the way, man. We gotta do it, but the job is not done. Man, shout out to D-Hop. Once again, shout out to Hollywood. Shout out to Kareem Hunt. Y'all weren't able to taste this success. Y'all get a chance at it now. So it's always special. But we got a rematch brewing. Stirring up. Go ahead and enjoy the NFL honors. We're not getting no awards. But guess what? We don't care. We don't care about the Pro Bowls. We're not going back again. It's time to be excited. And just like the vlog is coming out, his breakdown coming out, my post-game article going to be coming out too. So that's going to be coming out in a couple days. Try to get out to y'all as soon as possible. But we definitely going to have that out for y'all. Clinton, you wasn't here, man. So I'm going to let you go ahead and close it out for us, bro. Go ahead, close it out for us, bro.
Thank you so much, dude. And pleasure it's been this whole season. And now we get another Super Bowl run. I've joked that we can't take things for granted. So maybe you guys in your head, we got the next game. But, it's hard to plan that and think that far ahead. But it is true. It's damn true. Your Chiefs defeated the Buffalo Bills 32-29 in the Arrowhead Invitational, winning this fourth matchup against the Bills in the playoffs, 4-0 against them so far. And they are going to be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in this upcoming Super Bowl. And Red Kingdom Media will be covering that game and everything else in between that game with you, for you, all that. I got nothing else to say because we've got a little bit time left. Enjoy the little bit time left that it is Sunday night before whoever or whatever you got planned for Monday. And with all that being said, we always got to remember one last thing. Go Chiefs!
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.